BCom Commerce Costing Methods Problems on Normal Loss presented by Ekin. Unit 3 Process Costing. In this session we are going to discuss the problems on normal loss. One such problem is problem number 1. A product processed through three processes X, Y and Z. The normal wastage of each process is as follows. Process X is 3%, Y is 5% and Z is 8%. Wastage of process X was sold at rupees 2.5 per unit, and that of Y is at rupees 5 per unit, and that of Z is rupees 10 per unit. 10,000 units were introduced to process X at rupees 10 per unit, and the other expenses were as follows. Particulars under that we have sundry materials, direct labor, direct expenses, and then actual output in units. For sundry materials, for X that is 10,000, for Y 15,000, for Z 5,000. In case of direct material, for X that is 50,000, for Y 80,000 and for Z 65,000. Next, direct expenses, for X 10,500, for Y 11,888 and then for Z that is 20,000. Then in case of process X, the actual output in units is 9,500 and process Y actual output in units is 9,100, and in case of Z actual output in units is 8,100. In this problem they have asked us to prepare only the process accounts. Even though the problem is deals in normal loss, not in abnormal loss or abnormal gain or something like that. So in this case we have asked us to prepare only the process accounts. So first of all we have to open the process X account, process Y account and process Z account. That's it. They didn't ask us to write any more accounts, so we are writing only the 3 accounts in this case. So first we have to start in this problem we have to start with the process X, and then we have to write process Y, and then we have to write process Z. So in the debit side of the process X we have to write how many units are introduced in the process X. 10,000 units are introduced in the process X and at the rate of rupees 10. So 10,000 into 10 is equal to 1 lakh. Then what are the materials is used in process X? That is sundry materials 10,000 rupees, direct material 50,000 and then direct expenses 10,500. We have tried that. Then in process Y, in the debit side we have to write then direct expense we have to write 10,500. In the process Y we have to write in sundry from the in the debit side of the process Y, how much is transferred from X we have to write how many units have been transferred from X to Y, how many units have been how many units as finished units, those units are fully transferred to process Y from process X. So that we have to write the amount in the amount column as well as in the units column. Then apart from that we have to write in sundry expenses, that is 15,000, and direct labor 80,000 and then direct expenses 11,888. In the same way from the credit side of the process Y account, how many units are left over, how many units are completely reduced. So along with the amount it should be transferred to process Z account, that is, and apart from that we have to write some other items in the debit side of the process Z account, that is direct sundry materials, direct labor, direct expenses. So that is 5,000, 65,000 and then 25,000. Apart from that while going to the process X account, we have units introduced, then materials, then labor, then direct expense. We have to write the amount, and then total here is 17,500. Then in normal loss, how many units have been here given as 3%. In process X, the normal loss is 3%. So 10,000 units, 3% is 300 units. Then how many units, for how much amount that is sold out? So that 2.5 rupees per unit, that is in wastage of process X was sold at rupees 2.5 per unit. So that is 300 into 2.5 is 750. Then so here in this total we have in units 10,000, and here we have to write in the debit side as well as credit side, units will be the same. So here now we have to find out the write the total. We get here total in the debit side, that is 1,70,500. So on both sides we get 1,70,500. Then normal loss is 750. Then in this problem we have to find out the abnormal loss, that is 1 lakh plus 10,000 plus 50,000 plus 10,500 minus 750. We get some amount from that amount should be divided by the 10,000 minus 300, that is 9,700. We get one amount, so that amount should be multiplied by 200, that is the number of units. So we get 3,500. That is 17 rupees, I think 17.5. So 3,500. Then here we get now normal loss, that is 300, and abnormal loss, that is 200, and 10,000 minus 300 minus 9,500, we get 200. That amount should be written. And here 1,70,500 minus 750 minus 1,66,250. So the rest of the amount is the abnormal loss, that is 3,500. In the same way we have to write for the process Y account. In this, from A process X we got 9,500 units, and then amount is 1,66,250. And then materials is given the problem as 15,500. Then labor is given as 80,000. Direct expenses as 11,888, and abnormal gain we have tried. We have to find out that here in this case, in this process Y, normal loss is given as 5%. So 5%. So 9,500 into 5%, that is 475. How much is sold out? That is 5 rupees. So 475 into 5, we get 2,375. Then we should put the total here. Then in the same way here, how many units are being put in process Y account? That is 9,500. And the normal loss, when we, how much is the, now we have to find out the abnormal gain here in this case. That is how many units have been getting transferred from Y to Z. Actual output in units is 9,100. That unit has been transferred from Y to Z, that is 9,100. So when you put the total of the units in credit side, that is that exceeds the total of the unit column in the process Y account, that is 9,575. So when we see the total amount in the total unit column in the process Y account, that comes under 9,500 only. So that 75 difference goes to abnormal gain. Then we have to calculate that amount, because we don't know how how much amount should be written in the rupees column. So here what should we do is that we have to add up the all the amount, that is 1,66,250 plus 15,500 plus 80,000 plus 11,888 minus 2,375 divided by 9,575 minus 9,500 minus 475. We get one amount. So that amount should be multiplied by the abnormal gain, that is 75 units. We get 2,250. So then next, this from Y account we have to transfer this credit balance to Z account, that is we have to write for the debit side of the process Z account to process Y account, that is 9,100 into 2,73,013. That's the balance amount. Then in the problem itself is given some of the items as expenses, that is sundry expenses 5,000, labor 65,000 and direct expenses 20,000. In case of debit side, in case of credit side, we have to write the normal loss. In the problem, that is normal loss is given as given as 8%. So how many units have been we have got 9,100. So for that 8% is 728. So 10 rupees it sold out for 10 rupees. So 728 into 10 is 7,280. Then when we see the total, how many units have been transferred to from Z to finished stock? 8,100. So here now you put the unit. Here 9,100 only we get. Here when we get the total, it's less than the 9,100. So 9,100 minus 728 minus 8,100, we get 272, which goes for abnormal loss. Then we have to find out the now value, that is 27. How to get the value of the abnormal loss account? Then for that, what should we do is that how many units have been got? We have from process Y 9,100. For that, what is the value? So 2,73,013. With that, we have to add the sundry expenses, sundry labor, direct expenses, and we have to deduct the normal loss. That amount should be divided by the number of units, that is 9,100 minus 728. So we get 3,63,013 minus 7,280 divided by 9,100 minus 728. We get some amount. With that amount, we have to multiply this 272. We get 11,557. So now everything will get settled except the finished stock balance amount. So that amount becomes the balancing figure. How to calculate that? That is 3,63,013 minus 7,280 minus 11,557. We get 3,44,176. So with this answer, we get we completed the process loss account. In the same way, we have to find out the other problems. For that, we have to refer the other problems.